You rehearse the perfect sentence before a hard talk. In the car, in the hall, in the seconds before the call connects. You tell yourself the outcome will turn on the words, because words feel solid and controllable when the moment feels big. But the real reason is far stranger. Long before anyone weighs your logic, your face, your voice, your speed, and your stillness may already be telling them what kind of moment this is. Have you ever felt a room tighten before anyone said much at all? That reaction is not magic. It is fast human judgment. Your brain does this all day. It scans for safety, threat, warmth, and status, which is just your sense of who feels steady, who feels unsure, and who seems able to affect what happens next. In high-stakes talks, that scan gets louder. People listen with their eyes first, then with their ears. Only then do they fully test your words. Does that sound unfair? Maybe, but it's also useful. Once you see it, you stop treating presence like some vague gift that only a few people have. You start treating it like behavior. Small behavior, repeatable behavior, the kind you can notice and shape. That shift matters because when your body races, your mouth often follows, and then the talk you wanted turns into a performance of your stress. Have you seen that happen in yourself? Think of a job interview, a tense feedback meeting, a talk with a partner after a long day, a negotiation where money, trust, or pride is on the line. In each case, the first signal may not be your point. It may be your pace. If you rush, people often feel rushed. If your voice gets thin and tight, people may read uncertainty or strain, even if your words are smart. If your face is fixed and blank, they may struggle to know whether you are open, guarded, or gone. So what are they actually reading? Often, they are reading regulation. That is a simple word for how well you manage your own state in the moment, not how calm you look on your best day, how steady you can stay when there is pressure, surprise, or friction. Your nervous system, which is the body network that helps you react to stress and recover from it, leaks clues through breath, jaw tension, blinking, volume, and timing. People may not name those clues, they still feel them. Have you noticed how one grounded person can settle a room? That effect has been studied from more than one angle. One common idea is thin slicing, a term linked to research by psychologist Nalini Ambady. It means people often form quick impressions from very small bits of behavior. Not always fair, not always right, but often strong enough to shape what happens next. Another useful idea comes from Albert Mehrabian, whose work on liking and feeling has often been stretched far beyond what it can support. It does not mean words do not matter. They do, a lot. But it does point to something real when words and tone clash. People tend to trust the signal that feels more honest. Have you ever believed the pause more than the sentence? Start with tone. Tone is not what you say. It is how the words land through sound. Warm or cold, flat or alive, sharp or soft, fast or slow. A steady tone can carry hard truth without adding extra threat, while a brittle tone can turn even a simple question into a challenge that makes the other person brace for impact. That's why two people can say the same line and get two very different results. The line is the same. The felt meaning is not. Can you hear that difference in your own voice? Then there is pace. Fast speech can signal energy. It can also signal fear. Slow speech can signal calm. It can also signal distance or control if it gets too heavy. The point is not to speak like a machine. The point is to let your pace match your purpose, because timing tells people whether you are reacting from pressure or responding with choice. A brief pause before a key point can do more than 10 extra words. It tells the room you are not running from the silence. When was the last time you let a pause help you? Eye contact matters too, but not in the cartoon way people often teach it. Good eye contact is not staring. It is not a power move. It is simple attention. You look long enough to show you are here. Then you look away naturally, so the other person can breathe, think, and stay with you. Too little eye contact can feel slippery. Too much can feel like force. In most real talks, the useful middle is not dominance, it is contact. Are you trying to impress, or are you trying to connect? Posture sends its own signal, not because there is one perfect pose, but because your body shape hints at your inner state. If your shoulders climb and your chest collapses, you may breathe shallowly, and shallow breath often makes your voice less steady and your thinking less clear. If you ground your feet, loosen your jaw, and let your ribs move, you often sound more like yourself. This is not theater, it is mechanics. Your body changes your breath changes your voice, and your voice changes the room. Can you feel that chain reaction? Now add facial expression. People are constantly checking your face for congruence, which is just a simple match between what you say and what your face seems to mean. If you say you are open to feedback, while your mouth is tight and your brow is hard, the mismatch creates doubt. Not because the other person is overly sensitive, but because mixed signals force extra mental work. They have to choose which version of you to believe. In tense moments, most people trust the nonverbal layer first. What happens when your face argues with your message? This is where influence gets more human and less performative. The goal is not to manufacture charm, it is to reduce noise, to let the signal match the meaning. Let your tone say curiosity, not attack. If you need to set a boundary, let your pace say steadiness, not apology. If you want someone to tell the truth, make it easier for their body to settle by not flooding the space with your own urgency. Influence often grows when pressure drops. Does that surprise you? There is also mirroring. This word gets used badly, so keep it simple. Mirroring means lightly matching parts of another person's rhythm, energy, or posture. Not copying, not mocking, not turning yourself into a trick. Just meeting them enough that their body reads less distance between you and them. Used with care, it can help trust. Used too hard, it feels fake fast. The line is thin. So what makes the difference? Intent. If you mirror to control, people often sense the strain, even if they cannot explain it. If you mirror to understand, your timing softens. You become less eager to push. You listen longer. You stop treating the other person like a problem to solve and start treating them like a nervous system to meet. That phrase may sound clinical, but the meaning is plain. Every person in front of you is also trying to feel safe enough to think clearly. What changes when you remember that? There is a counterintuitive twist here. The strongest nonverbal cue is often not confidence in the loud sense. It is composure. Not bigger, cleaner, less extra motion, less verbal clutter, less racing to prove. In many high-stakes talks, the person who seems hardest to shake becomes easier to trust, even when they are not the highest status person in the room. That can feel strange in a culture that rewards speed, certainty, and constant output. But have you noticed how calm can feel like credibility? This does not mean silence always wins, or that stillness is always wise. Context matters, culture matters, personality matters. A direct style may feel clear in one setting and harsh in another. Warmth may be shown with strong eye contact in one place and with softer gaze and more space in another. Nonverbal signals are powerful, but they are not universal codebooks. They are clues. Clues need context. That uncertainty matters because overreading people can become its own mistake. Have you ever assumed too much from one look? So the skill is twofold. First, read yourself. Notice what your body does under stress. Does your speech speed up? Do you cut people off? Do you smile when you mean no? Do you fill every pause because silence feels like danger? Second, read others with humility. That means you stay curious instead of certain. A crossed arm may mean defense. It may also mean cold air or a tired shoulder. A flat tone may mean disrespect. It may also mean overload. Can you leave room for more than one story? That humility does not weaken influence. It strengthens it. People tend to trust those who are clear without being rigid, present without being invasive, and calm without seeming detached, which is a simple way to say they make the interaction feel less like a fight for safety or status. Once threat drops, thinking improves, listening improves, memory improves, better talk becomes more possible. Is that not what you actually want in a big moment? You can practice this today in small ways. Before a hard talk, let one full breath finish. Put both feet down, unclench your mouth. Lower your speed by 5%. Start with one sentence that is simple and true. When the other person speaks, do not reload your next point while they talk. Let your face show that you are receiving the message, even if you do not agree with it. Then answer the point, not the tension. Can you imagine how different that feels? And if the moment spikes anyway, return to the basics. Slow is not weak. Quiet is not empty. A pause is not surrender. Sometimes the most influential thing you can do is stop adding force to a room that already has too much of it. That is not passivity. It is skill. It is choosing signals that help truth travel farther than fear. In a world obsessed with saying the right thing, that may be the deeper advantage. What if your presence has been speaking first all along? You rehearse the perfect sentence before a hard talk, but next time, you may remember that the first message is not only in your words, it is in the way you arrive.